Some choices feel monumental when you make them, but what happens when they boomerang back, unraveling your life in ways you never saw coming? As this jaw-dropping tale unfolds, you'll be stunned by the twists that turn cockiness into remorse. Before we dive in, drop a comment with your location. Sarah Jenkins had poured 5 years into Horizon Enterprises. 5 years of relentless late nights, perfecting every task, covering for others' laziness. Yet, to Michael Grayson, it meant nothing. He didn't care. Michael didn't notice her loyalty, the endless hours, or the holidays she gave up for the firm. All he saw was a black woman in a role he thought she didn't earn. The conference room was deathly still, a silence that pressed against Sarah's chest. She sat opposite Michael, hands folded, her gut twisting. Summoned without a reason. She wasn't anxious. She'd done no wrong. But the smirk on his face set her on edge. "Sarah," he started, leaning back casually, in his seat, savoring the moment he'd clearly anticipated. "I'll be direct. We're letting you go." No warning, no debate. Sarah blinked. "Pardon?" Michael sighed theatrically, shaking his head as if exasperated. "It's not working. You don't fit here." Her lungs constricted. "Not fit?" Her voice stayed even, though her heart raced. "Michael, I've been here 5 years. My reviews are outstanding." He cut her off, adjusting his cufflinks. "It's a business call. Let's not complicate it." Complicate it? Fury surged through Sarah, but she wouldn't give him the outburst he craved. She'd sensed this brewing. The subtle slights, her ideas stolen and credited to a white colleague, always conveniently. She'd seen Michael dismiss her in meetings, ignore her messages, treat her work like it was invisible. Now this, "I understand," she said, her tone cool, masking the rage simmering beneath. "Is there a cause? The handbook says terminations need one, unless I'm missing something." Michael grinned, not warmly, but with a gleam that relished her challenge. "Things shift," he said, drumming his fingers on the desk. "We're heading somewhere new." His expression dared her to argue, to become the stereotype he wanted. The loud black woman, the troublemaker, proving it was about race. Because it was. Sarah exhaled deliberately. "Got it." She glanced at the HR rep, froze in the corner, avoiding her gaze. "Useless." She rose, smoothing her skirt. "I'll clear out by noon." Michael's smirk widened, expecting a scene that never came. He just nodded. "Good." Sarah turned, chin up, dignity intact, but inside, she was ablaze. Whispers trailed her as she packed. Not everyone at Horizon was a Michael Grayson. Some were kind, even allies, but others dodged her eyes, glad it wasn't them. Her friend Emily lingered by her desk. "Sarah, what happened?" Sarah offered a tight smile. "Guess I didn't fit." Emily's face hardened. "That's nonsense." "You outwork everyone," Emily hissed. "Michael's a bigot. Everyone knows it." Sarah chuckled despite the sting. And yet, silence. Emily looked ashamed but didn't argue. "Don't stress," Sarah said, zipping her bag. "I'll manage." Emily hugged her fiercely. "They don't deserve you." Sarah appreciated it, but comfort wasn't what she craved, justice was. As she left, the office hushed. Michael's door was ajar. He sat there, scrolling his phone, unfazed. She could have confronted him, but she didn't. Fate had its own plans. Michael Grayson reclined in his plush chair, smug satisfaction settling in. Sarah Jenkins was gone, finally. For months, he'd wanted her out. Too bold, too clever, too unwilling to bend his rules. She made him squirm in meetings, outshining him effortlessly with her skill. Now, she was history, and the office felt right again, or so he believed. His phone buzzed, an unknown caller. He hesitated, then picked up. "Grayson here." A pause, then a voice he knew but didn't expect today. "Michael, we need to chat." His breath hitched briefly before he steadied himself. He hadn't spoken to this man in ages, but weakness was an option. "Hey, good to hear from you," Michael said slickly, adjusting his tie. "What's up?" The voice stayed icy. "I just talked to Sarah Jenkins." Michael's stomach lurched, but he kept it smooth. "Oh, Yeah, I let her go today. We're shifting gears at the company. Silence. Thick, oppressive silence. Then the voice spoke again. Do you realize what you've done? Michael frowned. I made a call. I don't answer to anyone on staffing. Don't be dense, Michael. The voice snapped, sharp now. You fired the wrong person. Michael laughed curtly. She was a coordinator, dime a dozen. A low chuckle came through, chilling him. Sarah Jenkins is my niece. The word hit like a sledgehammer. Niece? No, not him. Michael's throat parched. I'm not done. The voice cut in. Family matters to me, Michael. A lot. Michael's mind spun networks, leverage, clout, all now against him. Of all people to axe, it was her. Look, he began, voice level. It wasn't personal, purely performance-based. A scoff. Save it. We both know that's garbage. Sarah's brilliant, diligent. Unlike you, I notice who's really driving things. Michael rubbed his temple, scrambling. I know she was your niece. I know, the voice said, taut with fury. If you had, you'd have thought twice. Too late now. Michael sank into his chair, unease creeping in. You're overreacting, he said, though doubt gnawed him. No, the voice shot back. You miscalculated, and you'll pay. The line went dead. Michael stared at the phone, gripping it like it might detonate. His pulse thundered. This was bad, very bad. He paced, mind racing. Damage control. He could handle this. He always did. First, he needed intel on this man's reach. He yanked open his laptop, digging into connections, influence power. It was worse than he'd feared. His guts sank. A knock jolted him. His assistant, Claire, peeked in wary. Sir, there's an issue. Michael inhaled, smoothing his jacket, feigning calm. What issue? Claire faltered. Check your email. Frowning, he clicked his inbox. The subject line gutted him. Michael Grayson's bias exposed. Sarah Jenkins speaks out. It wasn't internal, it was public. Every exec, client, and partner had it. She detailed the discrimination, the hostile culture, his prejudice, backed by emails, records, proof. His fist balled. This was a declaration of war. Michael had forged his career on dominance. Every step calculated to keep him supreme. Now, the foundation quaked. His phone wouldn't stop buzzing. His inbox was chaos. Execs demanding answers. PR disasters erupting, legal threats looming. The email went viral. The board saw it. Investors saw it. Clients saw it. Sarah wasn't just an ex-employee now. She was a movement. Her story exploded online, sparking outrage. Employees chimed in, exposing their own tales of bias and toxicity. His perfect facade was crumbling. Claire stood rigid at the door, her usual fake cheer replaced by dread. Sir, she said, voice tight, you need to act. Michael exhaled, face blank. What's the fallout? Claire paused. Clients are bailing. Social media is a mess. Reporters are calling HR nonstop. Michael's jaw clenched. Reporters. They're here, Claire added. Downstairs in the lobby. Naturally, the scavengers had landed. He pinched his nose. Schedule a board meeting. I'll fix this. Claire didn't budge. He glared. What? She swallowed. The board already met. Michael blinked. What? Claire slid a letter onto his desk. You're suspended as CEO, effective now, pending review. His world tilted. Suspended? Him? He snatched the paper, scanning for an out, but it was ironclad. He was sidelined, not gone, not yet, but powerless. If he wasn't calling shots, who was? Who's replacing me? He barked. Claire hesitated. Before she could answer, his phone rang. They both froze. Something big was coming. Michael didn't move. Neither did Claire. The ringing persisted. He grabbed it, voice steady despite his racing heart. Grayson. A familiar tone answered, almost playful. Michael, how's your day? His grip tightened. What do you want? A soft laugh. You know what I want. Michael forced calm. I'm not playing. Nor am I, the voice said, firm. "You're finished, Michael." He barked a bitter laugh. "You think you can oust me? I built this place." "You had control," the voice corrected. "Now you're sinking." "This is a setup," Michael growled. "People like you, people like me?" The voice interrupted, heavy silence following. His heartbeat roared. Then slower. "You mean people who don't let men like you slide anymore?" Michael's words failed him. He had none. "You misjudged her," the voice pressed. "You treated her like dirt, and now she's stronger than you." Michael swallowed, throat tight. "She didn't just leave, Michael. She rose. And you're dropping." The call cut off. His chest heaved. This couldn't be real. But it was. Michael had thrived on mastery. Every choice sculpted to keep him untouchable. Now, the earth shifted beneath him, fracturing. His phone was relentless. His inbox a battlefield. Execs panicking, PR imploding, lawsuits brewing. The email was everywhere. Sarah's story fueled a firestorm. People weren't just upset, they were livid. Staff piled on, spilling years of grievances. His empire's mass shattered. He wasn't the puppet master anymore. For the first time, he felt the strings slipping from his hands. Claire lingered, stiff, her forced smile gone, replaced by raw alarm. "Sir," she said, voice quaking, "you've got to respond." Michael exhaled, masking his turmoil. "How bad is it?" Claire faltered. "Clients are jumping ship. Social media is a war zone. Reporters are swarming HR." His jaw locked. "Reporters. They're outside," she confirmed. "And in the lobby. Vultures circling." He rubbed his brow. "Get the board on a call. I'll take charge." Claire hesitated, then set a letter down. His stomach plummeted again. "The board's already acted," she whispered. "You're out, suspended until they decide." Michael froze, the words unreal. Him sidelined? He gripped his desk, knuckles white. "They couldn't." "They can," Claire murmured. "And they did." He snatched the letter, hunting for a flaw, but it was final. Powerless, not forever, maybe, but now. Who was steering the ship? "Who's in my chair?" he snapped. Claire opened her mouth, but the phone rang again. They both knew trouble wasn't done with him yet. Claire lingered, then left. Michael glared at the letter. Suspension, a gut punch. "Set up a board call," he barked through the door. She didn't reply. He grabbed his phone, but it rang again. He answered, voice taut. "Grayson." That same voice, cool as ice. "Morning still rough?" Michael's grip tightened. "What now?" A chuckle. "I want you to hear this. You're done." Michael sneered. "I'll fight this." "You're drowning," the voice said. "And you dug the hole." His knuckles whitened. This wasn't over. Not yet. "This is sabotage," Michael spat. "People like you," the voice cut in sharp. "People who don't bow to you anymore." Silence pulsed, his heartbeat deafening. "You underestimated her," it continued. "You crushed her, and now she's towering over you." Michael's throat burned. She walked away. "No!" The voice snapped. She climbed. "You're the one falling." The line died. Michael slammed the receiver, chest pounding. This wasn't real, but it was. The worst loomed ahead, a shadow he couldn't outrun. He paced, mind racing for a lifeline. Michael Grayson sat alone in what was once his domain. The office, once immaculate, now lay in chaos. Paper strewn, boxes half-packed, a tomb of his reign. Just days ago, this space was his throne, every command echoing unchallenged. Now it mocked him. Beyond the door, whispers buzzed, employees smirking, glancing his way with glee. Their fear of him had vanished. That stung most. He'd lost more than a title. He'd lost their dread. A knock snapped him back. He braced for Claire, but it wasn't her. Sarah Jenkins stepped in, radiating calm. She belonged here now. Ironic, infuriating. Michael straightened, masking his fury. "Sarah," he said, voice flat, clinging to a shred of authority. She smiled faintly. "Michael." Silence stretched, thick and tense. Then she spoke. "I had to see it myself." He narrowed his eyes. See what? She waved at the wreckage around him. The collapse of a man who thought he was invincible. His jaw clenched. You think this is a joke? No, she said simply. It's justice. He scoffed. You think you caused this? You're not that big. Sarah laughed, soft, genuine, maddening. I didn't ruin you, Michael, she said, shaking her head. You torched yourself. He had no retort. It had unraveled so fast. The board had caved. Shareholders recoiled. Headlines screamed. Clients fled. Lawsuits stacked up. His resignation was a flimsy lie. Everyone knew he was finished. And Sarah? They'd handed her power. Not his chair, not yet. But a role that screamed who they trusted now. She'd won. Feels nice, huh? Michael muttered, venom dripping. She tilted her head. It doesn't feel bad. He hated her poise, her victory, her survival. She'd outlasted him. She turned to go, then paused. One thing, she said. He didn't answer. She met his gaze, piercing. Know why you fell? He exhaled sharply. Because you? No, she interrupted. You thought power was crushing people. Real power lifts them up. That's why you're done. She didn't wait for a reply. She didn't need one. Sarah left, door clicking shut. Michael sat, stewing in the ruins of his empire. His phone buzzed, ignored. The board's letter lay crumpled on the desk, a death knell in ink. Outside, the office hummed, unshackled from his grip. Employees moved freely, unafraid. He'd built Horizon on control, but it slipped away, exposed as a house of cards. Sarah's words echoed, real power lifts. He'd never grasped that. Now, he was a ghost in his own story, watching her rise take shape. Days later, the fallout hardened. Lawsuits multiplied, each claim a dagger, discrimination, harassment, fraud. Clients severed ties, citing values misalignment. The board review was a sham. His exit was permanent. Sarah's statement had ignited a reckoning. Former staff spoke out, peeling back years of rot. Online, she was a hero, he, a villain. His legacy wasn't just tarnished, it was ash. He packed the last box, hands trembling. Horizon wasn't his anymore. It never truly had been. Not like this. Sarah didn't gloat. She didn't need to. Her new role wasn't CEO, not yet, but it carried weight, a signal of trust. Michael's office stood empty, a relic of arrogance toppled. He'd misjudged her, dismissed her, and paid the price. The company shifted, shedding his shadow. She'd exposed the cracks, and others filled them. People he'd ignored, now thriving. His reign was a memory, a cautionary tale whispered in break rooms. Sarah's ascent wasn't loud. It was steady, undeniable, a force he couldn't stop. Michael loaded his car, the weight of defeat sinking in. No calls came, no allies, no saviors. He'd rule through fear, but fear had limits. Sarah had power, real power, built on resilience, not oppression. He'd never understood that. The building loomed behind him, a monument to his failure. She'd turned his game against him, and he'd lost everything. His story was done, a footnote. Hers? It was unfolding, bold and unbroken, a chapter he'd never touch. Sarah stood at her new desk, gazing out at the city. She didn't revel in his fall. It wasn't about him anymore. It was about what came next. Michael had crumbled under his own weight, a king dethroned by his flaws. She'd risen, not by tearing down, but by standing tall. The office buzzed with possibility, free of his shadow. His end was her beginning, a truth he'd never grasped. Real power endured, and she had it now. Sarah Jenkins' clash with Michael Grayson at Horizon Enterprises unravels a tale so electrifying it could light up Times Square, leaving us with two lessons carved in the ashes of arrogance. First, real power doesn't come from stomping others into the dirt. It's forged by lifting them up, a truth Michael never grasped. 4 or 5 years, Sarah toiled, late nights stretching past midnight, weekends sacrificed, only for Michael to see her as a threat, a black woman daring to shine in his 50th floor kingdom. He fired her, smirking from his leather throne, blind to the storm brewing 300 miles away in her uncle's office. His empire crumbled, Clients bolted. Lawsuits piled up like rush hour traffic on I-95, and the board axed him faster than a New York minute. Sarah rose, not by clawing back, but by standing tall, her new desk a beacon of what he'd lost. Second, underestimating people is a ticking bomb. Ignore it, and it'll blow your world apart. Michael thought Sarah was just a cog, replaceable as a dime store pen, but she was dynamite wrapped in resilience. Her viral email, packed with emails and records, hit like a Category 5 hurricane, shredding his facade. Reporters swarmed the lobby 20 feet below his crumbling reign, while employees cheered her name. He paced his trashed office, a 10 by 12 graveyard of his ego, realizing too late she'd outmaneuvered him. In America, where grit can topple giants, Michael's fall screams. Power built on bias is a house of cards, and dismissing the quiet ones can cost you everything. Sarah's story isn't just a win. It's a warning, etched in the ruins of a man who thought he was untouchable. Have you ever seen arrogance backfire like Michael Grayson's epic fall, or witnessed someone like Sarah Jenkins rise against the odds? Drop your stories below, hit that like button if this tale fired you up, and comment your thoughts. Subscribe now for more gripping lessons on power, justice, and resilience, delivered straight to your feed. Let's unpack what real strength looks like together.